vacations. We need blue strips for all the time we spend waiting. We gon' kill for what we owe, Joe, we not playing. Mr. President, I think it's time we get paid. I watch all of my people die. Why your people try to act like we commit crime? Get killed on TV, got our kids scared to go outside. It's time you pick a side. Before we turn this bitch up, Mr. President better fall in line. Yeah, we don't need loans, we need what we owe. We need police to stop killing sisters inside their home. And when it happened and we burn this bitch down, they need to stop telling us we was wrong. Hey, and we need unity. We need the government to stop bringing drugs in our community. They better stop playing, we not the ones. You got guns and we got guns. Who kill us and play with our funds? Yeah, how we supposed to restore when they won't give us more? When they got knees on our necks when we walk out the store? How we heal when they go to the park, kill a 12-year-old boy for killing, we ready for war. Yeah, and we need reparations, we need vacations, we need blue strips for all the time we spend waiting. We gon' kill for what we owe, Joe, we not playing. Mr. President, I think it's time we get paid.
Peace, peace. Greetings to you all. It's your brother Naheem, BKA Lord Abba, AKA Mr. Just the Facts. What's going on, fam? Man, I see the family coming in. You know, shout out to all the BTP mods. Shout out to the Freedman family all across the country. BTP Riri is on deck. What's going on? BTP Shanna is in the building. What's good? Our sister Kelly Pryor, the Nevada Freedman, is on deck. What's good? Vince Jefferson just plugged in as usual. I'm coming to get my bike back. Said he's going to have to catch the replay because he's at work right now. I understand that. I definitely understand that. Catch that replay. Make sure you click like on the video. Make sure you share the video out. For those of you who will be watching on Twitter, come on over to the YouTube channel. Hit the subscribe button. Hit that little bell icon so that you will be notified when we are going live and dropping our dynamic content. Let me let the bros know I'm on right now. Oh, let me see. Okay, yeah, man. Yeah, that's right, Sister Shanna. Sister Shanna said Freedmen from every angle of this country representing. And we're seeing that. We're seeing that with the D.L. Hughley attack on our sister Janet Jackson, man. You know, one brother hit me up, and I'm not going to blow the brother up. He's on my friends list on Facebook. And he was like, hey, you know, Janet Jackson, something about prostituted herself. I'm like, what? I was just, my only response to him was like, nah, bruh, we rocking with Janet. Like, I could have got deep. Like, marriage? Like, she got married, fam. I don't know what you talking about, prostituted herself. Like hypergamy is a real thing, first and foremost. And it's a natural thing. It is what it is. Like, I was like, you know what? I paused for a minute and I was like, nah, I ain't going back and forth with him because it would have been a fruitless discussion. And I don't know if the brother supports Kamala. I'm not sure, but I was like, what is this guy talking about? What is this guy talking about, man? What is this guy talking about? Iron Physique, Charlie Jacobs is in the building. The Freedman fam is up in here. We are up in here. So again, you know, share the video out, click like on the video. We're gonna have a discussion today about D.L. Hughley. And this discussion is gonna be deeper than the attacks on D.L. Hughley toward Janet Jackson. There's an excuse for everything, Kamala. And if you mispronounce her name, even if you've one of the people that are correcting people that have been mispronouncing her name for decades, you get painted as a bad guy. You know, what's going on, Sister Gina? Sister Cindy, what's going on? What's going on? You know, you get painted as a bad guy. Right? Like you're intentionally trying to do it and that somehow you are parroting white supremacist talking points. This was something that they did with the brother Rudolph Bilal, where in the interview of what's the name? Excuse me, the Jill Stein Breakfast Club interview. Let me play that real quick. What's going on, brother Ali?
Peace. What's good?
Ain't nothing. You know, we're gonna get into this DL Hughley thing today, man. I really want to talk about the machine and what DL Hughley represents is one of the mouthpieces of the machine. But I want to play this clip real quick.
Evaluating, got called onto the ticket 3 weeks ago. Okay. And I had done an Instagram live with Dr. Jill Stein, and I asked her a couple of questions. I had just posted a reel where Kamala Harris had been asked about reparations.
Kamala Harris.
Okay, Kamala Harris had posted a reel about reparations. I posted a reel where she was talking about it, and she was asked, and she sort of went around for about 90 seconds, and then she ended by saying, "I will never do anything that only helps Black people." In other words, it was a rising tide. Abuse that amounts to rape and so forth. So this man is a domestic terrorist and a criminal. Okay, she can look to Kamala Harris and
Kamala.
sorry.
Come on.
Come on, my brother.
Hold on. No, it's honest to God, no disrespect, to be perfectly honest. It's just the way that I had gotten used to pronouncing the name because it resembles a name that is used in West Africa.
But you understand the point of getting it right, though. Right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, you have to. As the brother on the team with the other, you gotta.
Absolutely. I will not make that mistake again. I'm begging.
I love seeing Black men get jumped by Black women.
No, hold on.
It's not me.
Listen.
Baby, my edges just looked up.
It's just triggering.
Yeah.
It's triggering.
Listen.
So, right, when we see that, Ali, what we're witnessing is the training, right? I was watching this video last night. Shout out to our sister Isla. She sent me this video, and I was watching this guy give a breakdown. And one of the things that he was saying was that they're not fooling you, they're training you. And when I heard that, I thought that was such a profound and powerful quote, that they're not fooling you, they're training you. And I instantly thought of this instance of the brother Rudolph Bilal Ware being corrected and scorned for mispronouncing Kamala's name. I thought about Nancy Mace, although she's the daughter of slaveholders and the Confederacy, being on CNN, getting attacked by Michael Eric Dyson and that Democratic Liberal Roundtable. Then she blew Michael Eric Dyson up. It's like, dude, how am I a racist when these are the text messages of you with me after the show, flirting with me and basically letting it be known that we look good together, right? I'm not that much of a racist, right? If you feel that I'm somebody that you can flirt with and send kissing emojis to, right? But nevertheless, what we're witnessing is a training, brother Ali. And I was speaking with a family member a couple weeks ago, and I'll say Kamala's name the way I've always said it, Kamala, or the way I've said it at least since 2020, when I've noticed that everybody was saying Kamala because we from the hood, and that when we see the name, that's how it looks to us. We're going to pronounce it the way we would pronounce it had someone had that name with the same exact spelling in the hood. And the family member was like, why are you pronouncing her name like that? And I had to say, because I've been pronouncing her name like that, and you and everybody else had no issue with how I pronounced her name prior to watching The View and whatever else you watched, where they're training your mind up to correct people for mispronouncing this woman's name, when in fact what's really happening is they have nothing else to latch on to. They have no way to defend her lack of policy positions, especially at that time before she put out a bunch of vague cookie cutter talking points that weren't actually policy positions. They were attacking Donald Trump. Like, how is that going to help me? So what's your thoughts on that, brother, as we just kind of move into this discussion?
I think it's fake outrage. I think that's the best way to characterize what's happening, especially with regard to the whole name thing. That shit is just fake outrage, because it's like you said, they don't have anything else of substance to really latch onto. So let's deflect with talking about the pronunciation of this Indian woman's name. The fact of the matter is, like you've already pointed out, most of us pronounced her name one of two ways, either as Kamala or Kamala. Most of us have pronounced her name that way for the past several years that we've known about her. That's the way we've said her name. It's only become an issue recently because they realize that there's nothing else to defend the woman on. So we got to find something that we can use to actually defend her on. And the best thing that they could come up with was the pronunciation of her name. And so it's fake outrage, it's foolishness, at best, man. So that's my position on that.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. I look, and let's, we might as well jump right into this because I was shocked. I lie to you not, brother, man. I was shocked to see the attacks of DL Hughley on Janet Jackson, even attacking her looks. Like, dude, you look like Leatherface in the grill. Like, you don't look good at all. And you have the nerve to attack somebody because she had surgery on her nose. Okay, yes, we could critique that. But I mean, Janet Jackson has always been a beautiful woman. I've not ever, since I've known of Kamala, looked at her and said, that's one fine lady right there. Never, not once, not once. So this is, I believe, the first tweet from DL Hughley. It says, Janet Jackson claims Kamala Harris isn't black. Says dad.
I can't see it. If you got it on the screen, I can't see it.
Oh man, my bad. I don't have it on the screen. My bad.
You might have to.
All right, let me see.
Okay.
Let's do it like this. Nope. All right. Bear with me, y'all. Make sure y'all hit that like button.
It was okay on the side. If our pictures on the side was all right.
No, I just want to remove the comment real quick. All right, yeah, we could blow it up from there. This is the first attack from DL Hughley against like Janet Jackson, man. That she's an icon. Like, this is an icon. And I believe this was a tester, right? He wanted to know if he could attack her and get away with it. He put "come on" at the end with several exclamation points. And based on the comments, and you go through the comments and you see some of what people are saying, because the Democratic machine doesn't care about Janet Jackson. The Democratic machine doesn't care about me. It doesn't care about DL Hughley. They will sacrifice this man up in a heartbeat if he doesn't fall in line. And if he even thinks about falling out of line. We've seen what happened with Luke, who some people call Lizard Man, who made tweets talking about how the Democratic Party always does the same old two-step, I'm paraphrasing, to get our vote every few years. And boy, when they came at him, they got him right back in line. I mean, the way he's simping for the Democratic Party. And yes, Luke from the 2 Live crew, the one that introduced the debauchery and the degradation of our women into hip hop. That's who I'm speaking about for those that might not know. And I mean, he's been going in ever since. So let's go to the next tweet. This 2 days ago. Janet Jackson questions if Kamala Harris is black in new interview. Wow, just wow. Because he just got up on that stage. And I'm pretty certain the DNC cut him a check. You're going to go up here and you're going to speak what we want you to say. And you're going to stay on task. You're going to stay on message. And this is what we see with DL Hughley right now. And somebody right, look at the name of this person. Muamaiua or whatever, clearly some African guy, right? Clearly some guy from Africa somewhere. He must be somebody that is into television, etc. But we can see from his name that he's not like us. And this guy, who's not a freedman, said, I question her singing ability. And I welcome her to prove me wrong. And D.L. Hughley retweets this. All of a sudden, Ali, we're questioning Janet Jackson's singing ability, and you're going to retweet this foreigner because this foreigner is a part of the Borg. For those familiar with the Star Trek series, when the Borg was trying to assimilate the whole universe into it, and you retweet this, you repost this Umu Mamumua, whatever the hell his guy's name is, dissing. Go ahead, Ali.
I was going to say something disrespectful, but I'm not going to say it about this person's name. But you know, I was saying to you guys earlier, and I think I need to repeat it here so those who are listening can see. You know, we talk about how this particular election has a whole bunch of people crashing out, right? We see that, but even further than that, with this particular incident pertaining to Janet Jackson and what she said, what we also are seeing are people who, number one, in the industry that don't really fuck with her, right? But that were pretending to be people that were admirers of hers, perhaps even friends of hers, etc., that pretended to be supporters and love people who love the family and the legacy of the family. I seen people saying stuff not only about Janet and her looks, but about her brother Michael as well. This guy that everyone allegedly loved as the greatest entertainer to ever walk the face of the planet, produced from our stock of people in this country. These are freedmen. These are American freedmen. They're part of the American freedmen families. But we're going to now disrespect them, their legacy, what they've brought to this country, what they brought to the world, what they've meant to this country and to the world, and to us in particular as representatives in the entertainment industry of the American freedmen, and the greatness that has been produced out of our particular stock of people in this country. We're going to now forsake that for some woman who's clearly a foreigner. I really don't care if you think she's black or not. You can claim she's black, but even in her blackness, she's a foreigner. Her alleged blackness, she's still a foreigner, right? She's not one of us.
That's right.
So you're going to, not only is she not one of us, let me go even further. She's not somebody that any of these people who are caping for her at this point even selected or voted for to be their nominee for the presidency. No one voted for this woman. And the truth of the matter is, if the people wanted her to be the president, she would have been the president instead of Joe Biden. This is a thing that I think people are missing, like a very important part of it. It's like, if you really wanted her, Angela Rye, Roland Martin, and even even D.L. Hughley. I was getting ready to say something else. If you really wanted this woman, she would be the sitting president right now, not Joe Biden. She would have been the president because she was running. Remember, let's not forget or act like we don't understand that this woman was actually running for president against Joe Biden, the man that she basically called Jim Crow Joe, her damn self, right? But instead of voting for this quote unquote black woman back then, you all voted for Jim Crow Joe, even though this woman that y'all love so much now allegedly exposed him for being Jim Crow Joe. But instead of voting for her, y'all picked Jim Crow Joe. But now you love her. Now you love her. So much so that you're going to forsake one of your own people for this woman who cannot even answer a goddamn question. There are videos circulating of this woman being asked specifically about the economy. Do you think that we're better off in this economy now than we were 4 years ago? Well, you know, I was raised as a middle class kid, and blah, 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 right? This is what she's doing every single time someone tries to get answers out of her. And even people are using the word specific in their questioning. What will you specifically do, Madam Vice President? What will you specifically do? Well, I was raised as a middle class child. This is what she does every single time. And so this is the person that the leaders of that party decided to select for you. This is not your candidate. This is not your nominee. This is someone that was selected for you in spite of the fact that your beloved Barack Obama was suggesting an open primary. They disregarded that and selected this woman for you, knowing good and damn well that she was not qualified to be in that position. She's a DEI hire. Her being the vice president is a DEI thing because black women forced Joe Biden to pick a quote unquote black woman, but instead of picking an actual American freedman who was here, who were the ones who worked to make sure that the inclusivity was there for our people, instead of picking from that group of people, he went and picked a foreign chick that you all are trying to claim as a black person now. And you're going to sit there after all of this time of protect black women, protect black women, protect black women, a woman that we know without question, beyond any doubt, that according to what a black person is, Janet Jackson fits that criteria. But because she says something about this foreign Indian chick, all of a sudden the sisterhood went out the fucking window. The whole protect black women thing went out the damn window. Now we're going to disrespect her. We're going to talk about her white woman nose. It's so funny that you can acknowledge her white woman nose, but you don't want to acknowledge Kamala Harris's Irish white ancestry. Nobody wants to acknowledge that. But we can talk about this woman's white nose because she had some surgery. Her and her brother. It's a terrible thing. And I said this and I mean it. Our people, the ones who are like D.L. Hughley, these guys, these simp ass dudes down with the sisterhood, the sassy sisterhood, these simp dudes that are doing this kind of stuff, and the black females that are egging this stuff on, who threw all of this protect black women stuff out the window, all of these people are dishonorable and have no loyalty to each other. They would throw each other under the bus on behalf of the Democratic Party at any given moment. They're like my sister Sonny always calls them. They're black faces. The black faces, the black-faced Democrats, that's what they are. That's what they are. They're really a bunch of Oreos, as we would say back in the days. They're a bunch of Oreos and white supremacists. That's what they are. They're white supremacists because they're caping for someone who's actually married to a white man. And I said this, and thanks to Brother Ibrahim for pointing this out. Black women lead the nation in evictions. But not a single one of them are asking this woman, who they are devoting all of their loyalty and support to, what she plans to do in exchange for all of that loyalty and support to assist them with this eviction problem that they have. No one's even asking her about that because they believe you're not supposed to ask for anything. This is the type of quote unquote politics that they've been trained to do.
Indeed. And, we had to have this discussion today. And it's crazy because I have it up on the screen. We have 136 people watching live. 93 of you are on Twitter. And I know because I'm looking at you right now. It's on the screen. Come on over to the YouTube channel, man. Click like on the video. Subscribe to the video. Help us grow the platform. This is where we are going to continue having important political conversations. So let me see. Somebody named Ain't That Some Shit said, I'm guessing they're saying, is this channel suggesting Democratic Party should embrace Janet, saying Kamala has a white father? That would make you comfortable? I don't know. I don't really understand your question, but I have no idea what you're trying to say. But a lot of what the people that are Kamala Harris supporters and supporters of the Democratic Party make no sense to me. So let me try to decipher this. Is this channel suggesting Democratic Party should embrace Janet, saying Kamala has a white father? We're not saying that the Democratic Party should embrace anything. What the Democratic Party does is embrace people's minds. They put their proverbial arms and hands around the minds of people, and the Republican Party is guilty of it as well. But the way the Democrats are doing it right now is so nefarious. It is so nefarious that we have to point it out. We have to point it out because now our own is being attacked. Kamala's father has more white in her than black. And I will drop a link in the chat. Ain't that some shit? If you're willing to come up and just disprove what I just said and prove that Kamala Harris's father has more black in her than him than he has white. Would that make us comfortable? This isn't about being comfortable. This is about the truth. This is about the truth. And the truth is Kamala Harris is not like us. Kamala Harris is not a black person at all. And if the little bit of African blood in her DNA makes her black, then everybody on the planet is black. Even her white Jewish husband, Doug Emhoff, and his children by that other white woman. They're black too. If that makes you comfortable. Because you're looking for comfortability. We're just here spitting truth. Spitting
Absolutely,
truth.
bro.
So
that's what it is, man. These people are the ones looking for comfortability. That's why they don't want you shaking and shaking the table and rocking the boat. They don't want you doing that. And that's exactly what we're doing. This is why every time someone says something, if you have anything that resembles a dissenting opinion with regard to anything the Democrats are doing or saying or promoting, they come out and they attack you. One of the things that I see is that the Democrats are social media bullies, right? They want to social media harass people. That's their tactic. We're going to social media harass you, and if we can attack you on radio, like Angela Rye and those people on the Breakfast Club did with Jill Stein and them, we'll do that. We'll try to attack you in that way, even if it's over something as minute as the pronunciation of this woman's name. It's a bunch of foolishness. It's silly. The people are crashing out, and what we're seeing are people revealing themselves within our families, within our circle of quote unquote friends, etc., who are showing that really they have problems with comprehension. They have problems with accepting and acknowledging the truth and the facts. And we see it very clearly. They're basically exposing themselves and want to impose all of their delusions on you. Remember, this is the same political party that doesn't know what a woman is and wants to impose this psychotic stuff on your children in the schools, etc. They got a Supreme Court justice that they're quote unquote proud of. That if Kamala Harris wins, and I said Kamala Harris because that's the way we pronounce her name, Kamala or Kamala, and I don't care that y'all can get mad about it all you want. I'm gonna say it the way I'm gonna say it. But if Kamala Harris wins, this other woman from this other sorority would be one of the people swearing her in or whatever. Both these women married to white dudes, but they proud of these people. They're both married to white dudes and they're proud of them. But you want to talk about somebody's nose. The one thing I know about Janet Jackson is neither one of her parents were white. Neither one of her
we know
parents
that
were
for
white.
certain.
We know that for certain. Neither one of her parents are some freaking foreign Indians or foreigners of any sort. Janet is our family. And I'm not going to turn my back on my family for no fucking foreign person, man. I'm sorry. I'm not going to do that. And if in order for me to do it, it better be a damn good reason. And this ain't it. This ain't it. And all of you people down with the sisterhood and protect black women movement, y'all are a bunch of fake and phony people. You're fake because you turn on your own sister for that bullshit.
That's a fact. Let's go through some more of these tweets and kind of move a little deeper into this discussion about the machine that is the Democratic Party. So here's one tweet. D.L. Hughley says, Janet Jackson's interview sounded like a Trump rally. FYI, it's a little ironic to question whether someone is black while you're breathing through the nose of a white woman. This comment has 15,000 likes. 15,000
above it.
So you can't click on likes anymore on Twitter because people be Elon he people like to click on stuff that's racist, and if they get exposed, it's like, look, this employee is clicking on this racist stuff. Are you going? You get called out. So Elon has made it to whereas you can't see who clicked the like on this stuff anymore. Only your own stuff. The next tweet reads, Kamala Harris looks the way she does because she has a mom from India and a dad from Jamaica. Janet Jackson looks the way she does because she has a plastic surgeon. Now, looking at images of D.L. Hughley, I mean, he needs a plastic surgeon. I'm trying to find my tweet. I put it on this thread. I may have retweeted it with a picture of Kamala. And one of the, our people are funny as hell. Somebody commented on my tweet and said, her face looks like one of them brown paper bags I used to put my 40 ounces in. How dare you try to come for Sister Janet Jackson over this Indian woman? And this is the time for us to stand up, and we're witnessing that. Social media has been the counter to mainstream media. It's been its counter, and it's been effective because the youth watch TikTok. The youth watch the Instagram shorts especially. They watch those things, and they're starting to see. They're starting to see that, as Brother Ali stated, Kamala cannot answer a direct question about how will you bring down the cost of living. Well, I was in a middle-class family and everybody had nice lawns in the neighborhood. Same answer. Let's read this next tweet. All I know is Kamala looks like she did when she was in Oakland. No, she doesn't.
Bullshit.
She wasn't in Oakland that long. You liar. You're a liar. He says, but Janet don't look like she did when she was Penny. What the hell was in that iron? Penny was cute. I'm kind of old. So Penny was cute when I was young, right? And when she, meaning Janet Jackson, grew into a grown woman, I mean, her beauty was almost unmatched.
Hey, remember when D.L. Hughley? Remember when D.L. Hughley collapsed on the stage? Remember that? When he collapsed on the stage with COVID. You don't remember that? D.L. Hughley had COVID or something. He collapsed on the stage, right? While he was performing. Like, so what if we just started making fun of that? Look at this dude. Look at this lame ass dude falling out on the stage. His weak ass, just because he had a little COVID and shit. This weak dude, man.
Exactly.
Like, I mean, we could become real ignorant with it, like what he's obviously doing here. He wants to be as ignorant as possible as they're paying him to be. But this shit is ridiculous.
So here he posted, after facing criticism for her ignorant Kamala Harris comment, Janet Jackson has issued an apology. Well, we know that this is not true. This is not true that she issued an apology. D.L. Hughley never tweeted the redaction of that policy, that so-called apology. and I'm going to get into that. Let's go through. Let's make sure. Let's make sure. Janet Jackson repeats false claim about Kamala's race. So he retweets this after Janet Jackson clears up the fact that she did not apologize. This is the new Democratic Party, or the Democratic Party that we never really saw. We didn't understand. We thought that they were our friends. But I want to share the article real quick. Let's get into this a little bit. And everybody, make sure you click like on the video. Make sure you're sharing the video out. All right, what happened to the article? It's a Yahoo article on Janet Jackson. Let me stop sharing. I don't know what in the world happened to the article. All right, here we go. Let me pull it up. Because this is important, especially for people that keep looking at D.L. Hughley's page. And this is what they want. They want you to keep looking at their stuff. D.L. Hughley ignored this. Fake apology from Janet Jackson spreads as performer stays quiet after questioning Kamala Harris's race. She also fired that person that decided to craft this apology on his own. She also fired him. Her and her brother Jermaine. I was reading the story earlier. I don't know why it didn't open up to that exact story on Yahoo, but this is what we're dealing with, family. This is what
I think it was her brother Randy.
Oh, Randy. Okay. Yeah, I think you're right. And we get to the point where we're attacking our sister. That means you would attack anybody. There's nobody that's off limits. Adonna C said Randy is her manager. You know, nobody's off limits, Ali. And it brings me to the machine. I want to start getting into that aspect of it and start breaking this down, because there was a movie that came out some years back called Wag the Dog. I watched it, but once I understood the concept of it, I was like, okay, I know. But now it has become more prevalent in my mind and in my thinking. And the name of that movie is called Wag the Dog. And I want to get into this a little bit, because this is telling. It says Wag the Dog is a 1997 American political satire black comedy film produced and directed by Barry Levinson and starring Dustin Hoffman and Robert De Niro. The film centers on a spin doctor and a Hollywood producer who fabricates a war in Albania to distract voters from a presidential sex scandal. The screenplay by Hilary Henkin and David Mamet was loosely adapted from Larry Beinhardt's 1993 novel American Hero. So, you know, we're noticing the Jewish influence all over the film, and who's producing the film and writing, etc., who wrote the original book, etc. Wag the Dog was released 1 month before the news broke of the Clinton Lewinsky scandal and the bombing of the Al-Shifa pharmaceutical factory in Sudan by the Clinton administration in August 1998, which prompted the media to draw comparisons between the film and reality. The comparison was also made in December 1998 when the administration initiated a bombing campaign of Iraq during Clinton's impeachment trial for the Clinton Lewinsky scandal. It was made again in spring 1999 when the administration intervened in the Kosovo War and initiated a bombing campaign against Yugoslavia, which coincidentally bordered Albania and contained ethnic Albanians, right? They's bombing the people that they claim that they were supposed to be protecting because they have to wag the dog. The film grossed $64.3 million on a $15 million budget and was well received by critics who praised the direction, performances, themes, and humor. Hoffman received the nomination for the Academy Award, yada, yada, yada. I don't have to read the rest of that. Why do I bring that up? for those of you who have been rocking with this platform for a minute, we bring up the bloody shirt, right? This is the original terminology for Wag the Dog. And that is the bloody shirt, where a northerner teaching freedmen in the South got beat to within an inch of his life. And it is said that the cause for action in the South by the then Republicans was done by a man that got up there and waved this bloody shirt. And this event never happened. And so bloody shirt was yesterday's term up until we get this Wag the Dog terminology. And this is important because we're dealing with actors, we're dealing with actresses who don't care about us at all. This is why when Kamala is asked the question, she does what? She gives you her rehearsed lines. When they ask you this, you say this. When they ask you that, you say that. And we're witnessing that in front of our eyes, right? And when we look at American state-run media will convince you that Ukraine, for instance, this tiny little country in Europe, is somehow hanging in there with one of the world's greatest superpowers, while at the same time showing us Israel bombing Gaza and parts of Lebanon indiscriminately, and then trying to convince us that this is okay because of an attack last October that stemmed from the fact that the Israeli regime stole their land in the first place. It's like, y'all stole these people's land and they're fighting to get it back. It's like somebody breaking into your home and situating themselves there, and they have superior firepower, and all you have is rocks and sticks, and they're shooting at you. They're just trying to get their home back. But the media, the same media, will spin this as an okay thing. Okay, bomb these people out of existence, right? And what we're witnessing is, again, the illusion of choice, right? But the difference this time is, ironic as it sounds, what Trump represents is normalcy. And I know that may sound crazy to those of us who've watched Trump be demonized over the past several years. I've joined in on that demonization because some of the stuff that he was doing was absolutely crazy to me. But then I had to think, how did these things affect me personally? How did they affect my hood? The phone call with Ukraine and Zelensky, how did that affect me? His so-called collusions or collusion with Russia, how did that materially, deleteriously affect my life and the lives of the American freedmen, some of whom are still after generations living in abject poverty in this country? It did not. It did not. I was posting those Rachel Maddow videos, posting them up a lot. And Kamala, well, does she represent normalcy? They're running an ad in the South, in the southern states, the Trump campaign. And it's showing how Kamala is speaking to using taxpayer money to fund gender operations for people, trans people, men that are in men's prisons that want to transform themselves into women. And how Kamala said that she would pay or have the government pay for this same transition process for people crossing this border illegally. That is not normalcy. That is not normalcy. This election is going to be one of the craziest elections, and we've seen it already. We've seen a weekend at Bernie's candidate in Jim Crow Joe Biden not even be able to speak well when he got up on the debate stage with Trump, which makes one ask the question, who's running America? Who's running America right now? Because the duty of the presidency, when the president is not in full capacity falls upon the vice president. And the vice president has to be the one that's running the country. And this same person is the one that's telling us what she's going to do to reverse the things that she's currently doing right now. Makes no sense. If you really pay attention to the things that Kamala is saying, it sounds as if she's running against herself. She's running to undo the things that she's already managing. Again, these people are not trying to fool you. They are trying to train you. They're trying to instruct your minds on what to do next. That's why you'll hear a repeat of anybody that mispronounces Kamala's name getting scolded. I would love to be the person sitting in that chair and say, why you keep mispronouncing? I'll make you cut this video off if you cut me off again, talking about mispronouncing this Indian woman's name. I'm talking about her policies. Attack me on that. Do not say anything else to me about her name, or else this interview and this discussion is going to be over. And you're going to hear some choice words that they're not going to be able to bleep out if we're on live TV. And that's a fact. The late Kevin Samuel says something. And I know many people disagreed with the brother. You know, we've had some battles within the movement with some of the sisters because of that brother Kevin Samuels. But he coined this phrase called sign language. Sign, S-I-G-N. Shame, insults, guilt, and the need to be right. And this is what we're seeing with the Democratic Party right now, especially among our people who are aligned with this party, especially with our people. So, I wanted to have a discussion today about the machine. See, the machine is running. This is the same machine that got Bernie Sanders up out the paint twice. Got Bernie Sanders up out of the paint twice, man. This is the same machine that wasn't rocking with Kamala Harris in the first place. Wasn't rocking with her in the first place. And all of a sudden, the same machine has convinced our people that this person is the salvation of this democracy. I want to pull up a definition to this word called recton. Right? Let's pull up this word.
Retcon.
Retcon is the word. That's how you pronounce it, right? Now, in film, television series, or other fictional works, a piece of new information that imposes a different interpretation on previously described events, typically used to facilitate a dramatic plot shift or account for an inconsistency. Verb, revise, an aspect of a fictional work retrospectively, typically by introducing a piece of new information that imposes a different interpretation on previously described events. Plug in Kamala Harris. For those of you who watched soap operas back in the days, you would understand this more than a lot of people, because what happens in the soap operas, right? What my mother used to watch. What was that? All My Children, I think it was, in General Hospital with Luke and Laura. I just remember the names. Luke gets killed. And then the next thing you know, the next year, Luke comes back. It's like, how is it that Luke comes back into the scene when he was clearly killed in the soap opera, right? He was clearly killed. You watched him die, and everybody was sad because they believe that the acting on the screen is real. They believe that. And this is a rectum or recton. This is what we're dealing with. The Avengers going back in the past to change the future. This isn't possible. This is impossible. We got to go back in the past to change a thing. Just, oh man, somebody said, just like JR on Dallas, Sister Shanna, right? We start remembering this stuff. So this is what is happening to society right now. You know, the Avengers could go back in the past, and we get so caught up on the entertainment of it, we forget about the impossibility. We forget about it. Our minds become conditioned through the entertainment. Bring in Meg Thee Stallion. Quote Quavo, you better walk it like you talk it, right? We get distracted by the entertainment value and the entertainment aspect of it. And then the fiction starts to become real. You ever watch somebody that yell at the TV? Run, stupid. Oh, this is a stupid mother, right? The thing that we're watching, we believe is real. We're seeing a great actress in front of our eyes in Kamala Harris, and the people do not care. They simply do not care that this woman is duping us, that the machine behind her is duping us. Their minds, these people that yell at the TV screen, that got excited when Luke came back into All My Children or General Hospital, whichever soap that was, or when JR came back to Dallas, or with the end scene of the Avengers when everybody is resurrected from the reverse snap and the portals begin to open up. I caught goosebumps. I'm not going to pretend like I didn't. I just know how to separate, the facts from the fiction and realize that I'm watching a movie based on entertainment. When I'm watching boxing matches, I don't mind muting the TV depending on which networks I'm watching, because if one of those boxers fights for the network, that the commentators will convince you that that fighter is winning the fight. Will convince you of that. You got to mute them out and watch the fight without listening to them. I would listen to Jim Lampley, for instance, when Triple G was fighting, because they wanted to make this guy the real great white hype, the greatest thing next to Muhammad Ali. And Jim Lampley would be like, he's peppering him with jabs. It's like, I just watched the replay, man. He missed all 6 of them punches. What are you looking at, Jim Lampley? Jim Lampley didn't care about reality. He cared about shaping your reality and you using your mind to trick your own eyes. And this is what this society has been doing to us since we've been in Western society. And I want us to understand that moving forward.
Retcon.
This is a retcon. This is a retcon that we're dealing with, a piece of new information that imposes a different interpretation on previously described events. We only knew her by the name of Kamala. Now, all of a sudden, we impose this different interpretation, Kamala. And if you don't say it correctly, we're going to jump all over you. A revision. Retrospectively, meaning that this person that no one liked, now we're going to use our machine and prove to the world that we are utilizing mind control over the people. Think about Black women, and I'm gonna let my brother jump in after this. I don't want to hog up the stream. Think about our sisters. And speaking of soap operas, one of the things that advertisers found out was that Black women, for instance, they were less likely to be employed in the 70s and the 80s, when in the early 90s, when these soap operas were at the height of popularity. So they were more than likely the ones that would be home watching soap operas. And they would buy these quality products. It was like, you know what? I don't want, like my mother, she would not buy like the no frill stuff. If she had to spend the extra 50, 60 cents or $1 to get the good stuff, she was going to get the good stuff. And the advertisers noticed this. and they started leaning into their advertisement. And most of their advertisements strictly became targeting women. How many of you remember Calgon, Take Me Away? I know I'm dating myself. I'm a little older now, and I don't mind. But you remember those commercials, right?
Oh,
you remember those commercials, Calgon, Take Me Away. You would mainly see those commercials during soap operas. It's happening today. They're doing it with The View. I was in New York a couple months ago when the earthquake struck, ironically, right? And I watched I was just sitting there just watching, my mother watch The View and watch ABC News and, the different channels that were pro-Democrat as Jim Crow Joe Biden was failing in the polls and Donald Trump was like gaining steam. Obviously, this was before the assassination attempt and before they found out that Jim Crow Joe Biden was a dead man walking, pretty much, right? So, I'm sitting there recognizing this. I'm not saying too much, but I'm listening to my mother. And shout out to my mother. She has her political views and her political opinions, and I'm just listening to her, talking to the TV every time they show Donald Trump's face, right? But it was the same thing with the stories. It was, right? It's the same thing with the movies that we feel emotions by. When you jump at a scary scene, there's no way that we should be jumping at the scary scenes of a movie, but perception is reality. That thing is not going to come through the screen and touch you or do anything to you. But the perception of it, the camera angle, the music, the climactic music that they play in that moment, it causes you to jump. You're like, oh, I got startled. I ain't gonna lie, that scared me. I stopped doing that when I was a little kid, when I seen my father jumping at the scenes from that movie Evil Dead. I was like, man, I'm never jumping again. Why is my tough pops jumping at the scenes in this movie? I'm jumping at, and I just stopped doing it. From that time, about 11, 12 years old, that's neither here nor there, but I'm just saying that perception becomes reality, and we're watching the media. We're watching media saturation of Kamala Harris. ABC News hosts a debate, and it's 3 against 1 against Donald Trump. Everybody points this out. I looked the next day at CBS News, NBC, all of the major media markets, CNN, MSNBC, CNBC, etc. It is CNN. CNN, yeah, definitely all pro-Trump. All pro-Trump. We got Brother Josh in. So, Josh, before you go, I want to play this real quick.
You mean anti-Trump?
Excuse me, anti-Trump, pro-Kamala. My bad. Pro-Kamala, anti-Trump. I've never would have thought that I would see in the history of America a person that cosplays as a black woman be given the royal treatment over a white man in this country. But that is what we're witnessing. So let me play this real quick.
The man who now leads the Taliban in Afghanistan, Mullah Abdul Ghani Baradar.
Mullah Abdul Ghani Baradar, co-founder of the Taliban.
I could hear in Mullah Baradar's voice that he knew President Trump meant business.
CBS News has confirmed that CIA Director William Burns met secretly in Kabul with the Taliban's de facto leader Abdul Ghani Baradar.
We have learned that CIA Director William Burns traveled to Kabul for a secret meeting with Taliban leader Abdul Ghani Baradar.
A Taliban co-founder, Mullah Abdul Ghani Baradar, who oversaw the signing of the U.S. withdrawal agreement last year.
The night. This is the part where Donald Trump invented someone. He invented a person who doesn't exist in addition to the people he says are eating dogs. There's another person who doesn't exist. His name is Abdul.
And Abdul is the head of the Taliban. He is still the head of the Taliban. And I told Abdul, don't do it anymore. You do it anymore, you're going to have problems.
Maybe the reason that VP Harris is looking at him that way is the one that she's probably thinking maybe he should go back to the old folks home and have a bowl of Jell-O. Or she might also thinking to herself, no. The head of the Taliban's name is not Abdul. It is Hibatullah Akhundzada. So maybe he couldn't remember that. You know, I had to write it down to know it. Your thoughts on his response in making up Abdul as a person that isn't real?
No one can really confirm who this Taliban person named Abdul is, who he said he'd talk to.
It's the bizarrest bit in the whole debate, where he describes the leader of the Taliban as a guy called Abdul. I mean, it's you know, it's a completely non-existent person. He's just chosen the one Muslim name he can remember. It's like, I don't know, the leader of the Taliban saying, that guy John who leads the West, or is it Billy? That's the kind of sort of wacky direction she sent his head in because she had prepared so well.
So we see, family, that Abdul was a real person, and all over media, including MSNBC, they acknowledged that this guy was the head of the Taliban. Joy Reid and the Democratic MSNBC, MSDNC, Trump called it that, and I think that that's a good name for that channel, it was left-wing state-run media, is now convincing people that this dude Abdul didn't exist. Convincing. This is what I speak to when I say a recton is happening. This is what I'm speaking to when I say they are wagging the dog. This is what I'm speaking to when I say that the liberal democratic media machine is manipulating the minds of the people. This person that was the head of the Taliban, and Trump speaking to his discussions with this guy, acknowledged all over mainstream media over the past few years, as you've just seen in the clips. Now, all of a sudden, is someone that Trump made up. And these people on the left position themselves as if they are the truth tellers, as if they are moral authorities. And if you follow Trump or support Trump or vote for Trump, it's something wrong with you for following that liar, not their liars. They don't care to fact check their liars. They will run with the lie. I'm surprised that I haven't seen another video of somebody saying that Abdul didn't exist. But somebody in the course of discourse will bring that up. Go ahead, Ali.
The guy's name was Abdul Ghani Baradar. He's an Afghan militant and religious leader who is the acting first deputy prime minister alongside Abdul Salam Hanafi of the internationally unrecognized post-2021 Taliban regime in Afghanistan. So there's actually two Abduls. There's this Abdul Ghani, and then you have Abdul Salam Hanafi. So there's two of them. It's two. It's not just one, but there's two. And they're both in leadership positions in the Taliban. It's very, very interesting. So I'm just looking right now. I don't know where they get this from, that there was no person and that he made it up. That's just crazy. He didn't make that up.
I'm just saying, Brother Josh, what are your thoughts, man? This is, you know, I wanted to touch on the machine behind before you jump in, Josh. I was driving early this morning, and I put the radio on. I never really listened to the radio at all, but it's political season. I want to hear the spinologists. I want to hear the manipulators. And so, in driving through North Carolina, there's a station, I think 102.5. And there's a woman by the name of L'Oreal. I think she has two brothers as co-hosts. Now, I've never heard of this woman before. I've never heard of any of them people before. But they speak to the Janet Jackson issue. And when it comes to the news that Janet Jackson never made the apology, that's when it became vague. They were confident in speaking to Kamala being ignorant, if you will, about making the statement that Kamala's father was white. And I want to touch on a little bit of that in a few minutes. But when it came to her saying, no, we didn't apologize for anything, and that guy got fired, they was like, hey, well, I don't know. It was something about somebody getting fired, and y'all didn't know. Well, you could have looked the story up. It was this happened last night. This circulated and is circulating in the news cycle. So you should be able, as a media person on air, be able to look the article up and just simply read from it, or develop a bulletin point or two to speak from. Janet Jackson did not apologize for saying that Kamala's father was white. I believe that it is an accurate description if we're going to use the racial color-coded system. Jamaican is not a race. That's if Jabari is listening from Sanetta's channel, who had a debate with a couple of weeks ago, and the people that believe that Jamaican is a race. What are your thoughts, Brother Josh?
Man, I have my Janet Jackson playlist going on. I don't know if y'all friends with me on Facebook, but I in my little Facebook stories, right. I had my Rhythm Nation joint, Come Back to Me, and Someday Is Tonight. Those was my jams, man. A shout out to Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis. Can't go wrong. But yeah, I'm with her. I rock with Janet, and unlike a lot of our people that's just so easily swayed and convinced by this media machine that is the Democratic Party, I'm not throwing Janet Jackson in the trash just because she says something that a lot of other people are saying. Like, what? I mean, if this presidential candidate wants to clear the air, all she got to do is say, look, this is how I identify. This is how I want y'all to refer to me. And this is how, this is the reality of the situation. She does not do that. And she leaves it up to interpretation. Now, I don't know if y'all played this clip, but I put something in the chat earlier, and it was, she was speaking at some panel. This was a long time ago, probably in the early 2000s. And she was referring to African Americans in the context of we and our grandmothers here and all that kind of stuff. I don't know if I'll find it if you want me to put it in the chat. So it was a time when she didn't say, I am African American, I want you to identify me that way. But she did strangely refer to herself as an African American by using the context of we and saying that our grandmothers have to be in fear, and our grandmothers, she was talking in the context of crime, and now we want law enforcement and all that kind of stuff. So I guess she was just trying to talk about that we thing and her being included in the group that's called African Americans. So she could be like, hey, yeah, we're for law enforcement. Anyway, the reality of the situation is, she's really not included in that we part, right? She's not included in the we part as Freedman. And she certainly doesn't have grandmothers that are generations of grandmothers or, family members in the community like that. That's just not the reality. So I think she was just, back in those days, a lot of this information wasn't widespread. She wasn't as popular, so she could get away with that type of chameleon activity. But now, she's on a much larger platform, and so she can't get away with that. Now, when we talk about that thing about what was his name, Mullah Abdul Ghani Baradar. I mean, it's what's wrong with him like shortening that to Abdul? I mean, come on, man.
Well, that wasn't even the issue, Josh. They said he made Abdul up. And remember, Joy Reid cited some other name. And then they made it seem as if, the one white guy got up there and was like, that's like saying Billy in America because you couldn't remember, or pronounce some guy's name from America. So you used like the blanket term Billy. It's like, no, this dude's name is Abdul. It's like, what are you, no, bro. They just said it was somebody else and that Trump made this guy up.
I'm going to give you a name. Dikembe Mutombo Mfolondo Mukamba Jean-Jacques Wamutombo. Now, what am I supposed to do with that? I'm just taking Dikembe. I'm taking Dikembe.
That's or
you know what I mean? Nobody called him Dikembe Mutombo Mfolombo Mukamba Jean-Jacques Wamutombo. And we shorten that joint to Dikembe. Some people just say Deke. So when I'm not. Hey, there's nothing wrong with Abdul. I had a roommate back in the day, and I don't ask me all his names, but he said just call him Abdul, and that's fine. It's funny. We get into the weeds on a lot of this stuff, but those Islamic names, when you see Abd just means servant, and usually when you say people attach like a servant, a name for God on there, so it'll be like Abdullah. So it's or they'll say pronounce like Abdullah. So it really is not Abdul, right? It's like Abd. And when you say Abd, a lot of people not understanding was like Abdul. I guess it's a very westernized pronunciation, but Abdullah, Abdel or whatever. I'm not gonna get into. I think there's a Bible name called Abdiel or something like that. Servant of
I'm
El.
sorry, Josh. I gotta jump in. Hold on.
Go ahead.
Hold on. I got this comment pulled up. Poetic justice is her claim to fame. Angel Hall. The first comment was a question. Janet became famous when she starred in Poetic Justice in 1993, right? I don't know if Angel Hall, Holl, Holl, that definitely is not a Freeman name.
Hold on, yeah, I was about to say. Well, I mean, she could be young too.
Huh?
She could be just young and listening.
You know what? It could be you.
But if I had to guess, I had to put some money on it in Vegas or something, I'm gonna say that does not sound like a Friedman comment, because we know the records that was hot a long time. Matter of fact, we remember Janet Jackson from Good Times. We remember Janet Jackson from being a member of the Jackson family before she even put out a record.
Well, she said she was just Angel Hall said no, I was asking, but when you put Poetic Justice is her claim to fame with 3 exclamation marks, I mean, come on.
Maybe it depends on how old Angel is. Angel may be a very young girl, and so
then, I mean, you don't know.
But I understand what she's saying, like with like
family
people that just watch maybe mainstream white folks.
That's the 70s.
Yeah.
You got to remember. After Good Times, she was also on Different Strokes, right?
Different
Playing
Strokes.
Willis's girlfriend. After Different Strokes, she was on Fame with Debbie Allen and Gene Anthony Ray and those people, right? So
And
it
them
just
shows are
depends
syndicated.
on. Yes, and it depends on the age of the person. Like if you coming into this game in the late 80s, early 90s, or whatever, then yeah, maybe you might feel like that about Poetic Justice, because maybe that's your introduction to her. But you got to understand, she's been around, her family's been around, they've done a whole hell of a lot. They had their own variety show. A lot of people don't know that the Jacksons had their own variety show where the whole family was on there, including LaToya and Rebe. All of them were on there. So
she said she's
it just
27.
depends on what you know and how much you know of the history. Yeah, so exactly. Yeah, so that makes sense.
That ignorance.
That makes
My
sense.
children are
that's
18.
cool.
My youngest is my twin girls are 18. They know Janet Jackson was born.
Yeah, my bad, sis. No disrespect. It's just we kind of on edge from
we
these
on
wild
the edge
attacks
right
on the system.
Because you attacking an icon, a Friedman icon, and D.L. Hughley in the Democratic machine. So we're going to look at every comment with a side eye, and it's going to meet strict or BTP's version of strict scrutiny. So
I
it
saw
is
what you
what
did
it is.
there. That
Yeah.
Freeman icon. Yeah.
So, you know, when we know that it's the machine, Josh, I mean, I've never seen nothing like this in my life. And maybe I wasn't astute enough to pay attention to it. But in that wiki article that I was reading from with Wag the Dog, it gave examples of real live Wag the Dog situations that happen. And a lot of those things get chalked up to conspiracy theories, et cetera, you know. But all right, nah, Angel is trolling, y'all. I'm sorry, Angel is trolling. This person is trolling. Said Janet is beautiful and poetic justice. I guess Pac wasn't famous in that film, was he? So we could ignore this person from here on out.
All right.
So we see this old tweet. Kamala Harris flames out. Black people didn't trust her and they were wise not to. You know, one of the things that D.L. Hughley said on that DNC stage was that he did some research. Like he basically got a call from Kamala, and we don't know if that call was a week ago or 10 years ago. Who knows? It couldn't have been 10 years ago because this was back in 2019. And he said that she told him to do some research, and he looked into her and he changed his mind. The crazy thing is, this is becoming the sentiment of, you know, they're trying to put it on black men, but there are so many of our women against Kamala. The hashtag Never Kamala is one that started by our women. And now we have these people that are a part of the machine that is the Democratic, you know, and what we're witnessing is that the Democratic machine is more powerful than the Republican machine. So the Republican machine utilizes war overseas. I remember the Iraq war when Bush was president after 9/11. And when he was getting reelected, one of the things that he was running on was, you know, I got to complete this war. And I remember being not politically smart enough to know that, no, you need to get your ass up out of office. Right? I didn't know at the time. So, and that was one of the things that I repeated. Yeah, maybe this guy needs a second term so they could finish that war. They killing them people over there, yada, yada, yada. This was something that I literally said. I literally said this. So when it comes to things of international flair, the Republicans got that on lock. They cannot convince the rest of America on things of a domestic nature in the way that the Democratic machine can. And we're witnessing it right now. I just played a clip of mainstream media, MSNBC, pretty much saying that Trump is inventing a man that actually exists or existed by the name of Abdul, who was the head of the Taliban. And that was crazy. Somebody in the chat said, yo, clip that piece, share it on IG, share it all over social media. All over social media. LPA Film says, Jill Stein 2024, Break the Cycle, Reparations, See Breakfast Club interview. LPA Films, go back a couple episodes. We did a breakdown to that Breakfast Club interview. You know, we looked at Jill Stein's platform, and there are some things on that platform we love. But there are other things on that platform that we feel are extremely problematic when it comes to my people, and that immigration piece being the main one. And we will not negotiate on that aspect. We will not. You know, right now, things are going to run its course. And if we're going to do third party, I'm not sure. And I don't purport to speak for my brothers or anybody else in this movement that the Green Party would be a party that I would get behind. The Libertarian Party would be a party that I would get behind, etc., etc. If there's going to be a third party that we get behind, it is going to be one that we build from scratch, from the ground up. It will not be one that is already pre-built. And we will create our own momentum, our own groundswell, and run our own candidates. That's if we decide to go that route. Or we can, just take over the party of our ancestors, which is the Republican Party, which I'm all for as well. Notice that as well aspect of it. So, yes, I just wanted to touch on that. Y'all wanted to go in on anything?
Well, I just want to say, I think we touched on it. We did a program recently talking about, the Green Party and their candidates' interaction with the Breakfast Club. And I thought there was a lot there that we liked about that conversation on their part. But one of the things we made sure to stress was, our commentary, and even expressing that we liked some part of their platform, in particular, advocating for reparations to the tune of tens of trillions of dollars was something that we definitely can get behind. And but that still, we didn't say that we're just going to endorse it, because there's some other things, like Brother Naheem said, that when you understand what we're facing now, we have on the left, we have from the Democrats primarily, we have the politics of I'm gonna start from the right. We have the politics of racism, and no matter how much we have been trying to help them see something different, that's just the old card that they want to play, and the play to keep running. So then on the Democrats, they running on the on the politics of e-racism. And what I mean by e-racism is not like electronic racism. I'm talking about erasure and replacer, and that is through immigration policy and just wholeheartedly ignoring us and countering us. And when we try to make moves to help our group, which when you think about a triage scenario, we should be the first that's getting emergency care, but they're treating us like we're not even in the emergency room bleeding out. You look at the California situation, where you make all the right moves to get there, to try to make sure, just to get a Freedmen Affairs office, and then they just like start cheating. They start messing up the game. They just, you playing Monopoly, and they didn't roll doubles, and they rolling again, and they rolling again. They pulling out, they writing on pieces of paper and making up bootleg money, and spending in the Monopoly game, all kind of cheating stuff, right? And it's like, really? Like, y'all gonna do us like that? But yeah, but at the same time, I mean, let me just say something. It was a vote in Congress last week, not this past Friday before last. It might have been last Friday. I can't remember, but it was a bill dealing with, in the House. It was dealing with violence against women, and saying that if you were found guilty of domestic violence, that means sex crimes or sex abuse or child abuse or domestic abuse, beating up women, whatever the case may be, that was a deportable offense, and you have to be subject to that penalty. And 158 Democrats in the House voted against that. I think it's like HR 5717 or something like that. Y'all can look it up, or if somebody want to put the link in the chat. I mean, think about that. They voted against the deportation. So that's deep. What they're saying is they're so committed to the political expediency and the benefits of having people, like potential voters, that, or whatever their agenda is, the reason why they want to have the politics of erasure. That's the result with us. They're so committed to that. They don't even care if their own citizens, women, get abused, or the immigrants that the women of the immigrants or the children or whoever, the victims are getting victimized. They want to keep those people around here. They don't want them to be deported. That's deep, to the point where your representatives will vote against the deportation. I mean, I don't understand how they that's not being blasted everywhere. And it's a lot more than that. It's a lot more than that. We're talking about the horrendous immigration policy and particularly border policy of Biden. They want to codify that into law, so what that is now the new federal law. Not the actions that they're taking to subvert the existing federal law and the spirit of like having a country. They want to actually codify that and make that the new law. They want to make what is actually facilitating illegal immigration and making it pass like a color of law legal. They want to make illegal immigration now legal immigration. And they want to make it to where crimes committed by people who shouldn't be in the country anyway, or who are in the country or granted temporary status, they won't be forced to leave. They'll still get to stay. Like, that's crazy. That's crazy. So when we're talking about like who you give your allegiance to, you got to understand what that means for you. Not just, you can't fall for the bamboozlement of these parties, because where was Kamala? Were you ride or die for Kamala last month? The month before that? The month before that? Last year? A few years before that? And you willing to throw away the freedmen who, our group, our members of our tribe, you willing to throw all them people away just for somebody that a machine program you that you better put nobody above except for Jesus. And maybe even that's in question.
Now
Yeah,
look
you
at
gotta
this,
watch out
Josh.
for that. Go ahead.
Analyze what's on the screen. I want you to look at this. Like, pay attention to this particular screenshot. I want everybody to see this, because this goes to what you were just talking about. Where these people team Kamala just a week ago. But check this out. I'm old enough to remember when D.L. Hughley thought black people were wise not to trust Kamala Harris. Look at the tweet. Kamala Harris flames out. This is from him. Black people didn't trust her, and they were wise not to. This tweet was done in 2019 when she was running against Jim Crow Joe. So obviously, D.L. Hughley was a sack rapper for Jim Crow Joe at that point. And when she, quote unquote, flamed out, like he said, which he was happy about, he made this particular tweet here. And so this person says, I was old enough to remember when this was his position. Right? You see how fake and phony these people are, man?
You talking about Democrat lapdog Hughley?
Yes, Democratic lapdog Hughley. And that tweet again is from 2019. Let's look at this. Keep the heat on, D.L. Hughley. He got us all messed up. He deserves no audience at his shows. Right. Here's another one. Lori Lightfoot, get your sister D.L. D.L. Hughley didn't believe or protect his own daughter. Oh. He didn't believe or protect his own daughter when she told him she was sexually assaulted by one of his friends. But he's publicly disrespecting Janet Jackson to protect Kamala Harris and the Democratic Party. Come on, man.
Yeah, well, that's fair game. He's gonna talk about her nose and her family and Michael Jackson kids and all that kind of stuff. That's fair game.
Here's another one. This woman used the same one. I can't believe DL had the audacity to troll Janet Jackson for questioning Kamala's blackness. Yet in 2019, this sellout had a whole different opinion about this phony Indian lady. I guess he is bought and paid for now. Oh yeah. These people are being paid to do what they're doing. D.L. Hughley has empowered. Now, this one is crazy too. D.L. Hughley has empowered and encouraged whites to attack Janet Jackson.
Man.
Where are all the, quote, I hate black men septum ring warriors at to defend the female black icon's honor? Where is the protect black women crowd?
Dang.
Said never existed. It has always been protect liberal agendas.
Ain't that something? Yo, that reminds me of that one, like one of the earlier programs we did, maybe like 2020, 2021 or something, where we were talking about, it was some, remember Naheem? It was like they were talking about ways to use the 13th Amendment and the 14th Amendment to protect abortion rights. And it wasn't like use the 13th Amendment to try to support the Freedmen reparations case. It was like, hey, they not using it, so just let's use the 13th Amendment to try to say, well, that was a badge of slavery. Women's not having reproductive choices is a badge of slavery. And then the 14th Amendment says, well, any right that one citizen get, we need to have equal rights. So then we'll then take the rights that's supposed to be made for the freedmen and spread them out to everybody. It's like, how can we subvert the original intent and bastardize the original intent of that and then make it available for everybody? So what we see here, it's like, well, how can I use the plight of black women and people, black women thinking that, oh man, they got a special affinity for us. So yeah, they looking out for us. No, it's, that's like, when you think about the freedmen, that's the highest, that's the moral high ground. And so then you say the black woman who, women being a group that's been historically been denied rights more than men. So then you say, well, that's the highest, that's a higher high ground. So we'll go in and focus specifically on them. And because whatever they can get, we can be able to convince them to get behind us, and we'll just be able to wedge in all these liberal agendas underneath that black woman. Well, you got to wake up and see that it's never really to protect you. It's never really to help you out. It's there to use you and to bamboozle you into giving up that moral high ground and sharing that moral high ground. And then, they'll use that high ground to snipe all the rest of us, to bomb all the rest of us, to see all our moves coming. And, thank you. Wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. And you get more of the same. Negroes stay at the bottom.
That's right. And this is why we're doing this live stream tonight. It's for the people that's in our proximity, especially. You are being bamboozled, and you don't realize that you are. You don't realize that you're being duped and manipulated, and that the Democrats are running a Retconning, right? And I defined that earlier. They are playing you like you are the character in a script that they're writing, and you are really nothing but the audience. And they get to define these characters. They can keep a person unpopular by simply not highlighting them at all, which is what happened with Kamala. She was just unpopular. So instead, what they did was they focused on Trump so much with calling him racist and all of these different things that once they propped Kamala up, there were people that said anybody but Trump. Anybody but Trump. And this isn't the way that politics is supposed to work. This is why they keep getting over on us. A close family member told me that, she rattled off 4 other women from the family that's voting for Kamala. And I said, great. I'm not going to discourage you, but you're voting for more black people to be evicted, because who's running the country right now? The vice president. The president doesn't have the mental acuity or wherewithal to run. This dude put a Trump hat on the other day. Like, come on. I know they was like, yo, do not put this guy back at another rally or another event. He put a Trump hat on. That wasn't CGI. That wasn't
You talking about Biden?
AI. That was
You
old
talking about
age. Biden, I meant. Biden.
Now let me say something about that.
Put a Trump hat on. That wasn't senility. I mean, that was senility. A man,
now let me say something. Go ahead.
A man whose brain isn't all there. You're running against somebody, and you put his hat on your head. Trump 2024. He's a disaster, which means that he cannot possibly be running the country. They have this thing called the nuclear football that they have to keep with them. There is absolutely no way that you're going to let Biden carry the nuclear football. This dude is putting on Trump hats. Can't complete sentences. You think you're going to give him the keys to turn a device that could launch nuclear weapons? No. That means that Kamala Harris is carrying the nuclear football. And if she's carrying the nuclear football, and I'm just guessing here because that's from my understanding, then that means that she is running the show. And if she is running the show, that means she's been running the show, and that the policies that we're suffering under right now would only continue underneath her reign. And that's why I said earlier, if you really listen to Kamala Harris, it sounds like she's not running against Donald Trump. It sounds like she's running against herself. Yeah, go ahead, Josh.
Well, I think maybe I'm not gonna say what I was gonna say. I was just gonna say, like, you know, I remember some years ago after the results of the election, some other personality, that's a YouTube personality, put on the Trump hat, and you know, that was a big deal. And for some people who really, paid attention to that particular YouTube personality, I was like, oh my God, what's going on, with that? And then it's funny that the president turns around and does something like that. So, and I just thought that's an interesting, turn of events. Whether we're not shooting no shot, and that's certainly, if anything, that was kind of a vindication or a shot out, right? More than shooting at, and but I'm not doing that. I'm not going to officially do that either because, that's not reciprocated or well received. It seems like, but that's we're not going to get into that today. But I did get into it, but I'm not going to get into it. Yeah, man. It's when I'm always like, Trump doesn't need any help being made to look like a fool. Sometimes he doesn't need any help to, like, if anything, it's people that are trying to clean up and come behind what he says, because he just says all kind of stuff. He's like, throw mud against the wall, see what sticks. But the more and more we have these conversations, the more I got to admit that it's like I'm talking myself into not rocking with these people at all, to the point where I might push it. I'm carrying the nuclear football of my vote, and I might do something different with my vote. So I'm just saying that's just me. I don't know.
Man, I don't know how much more convincing you need.
I knew you was about to come on,
going on here, man.
I knew it was good. Yeah, I'm gonna change the subject. Go ahead, Ali.
How
What
they
you
used
got?
to say, don't be scared. Don't be scared. Yo, you crazy, Josh. Well, look, I already made my intentions very public, so, and I really don't care what anybody think. I'm very much like Mike Tyson. Yeah, this is what it is. What you gonna do about it?
What you gonna do about it?
What you gonna do about it? Nothing. So you can get mad. You could jump on the Facebook post that I make. You could jump on the Instagram comment section. It don't matter. You ain't changing nothing. Just like as far as y'all are concerned, we're not changing your mind. So I really don't even understand what all of this back and forth is even about. Y'all are gonna do what you're gonna have to do. So people sitting around talking about what's the alternative. What do you mean? What's the alternative? I don't know what your alternative is. Because you feel that you have no alternative. So there's no real way to answer that question, right? Because if I say to you, Jill Stein and Butch Ware is an alternative, and you come back and tell me, look, there's only two people on the ballot. Well, then why did you even ask the
That's
question?
right.
Yeah, there's also Cornel West and somebody else. I can't remember. He got somebody that's a Muslim, I think, vice presidential candidate. And even the Libertarian, I think, got somebody that's a Muslim, got a Muslim name, Ma'at or something like that. I don't know. He might be a Freedman. Ma'at. That sounds like one of them sign of the TV names. But I just gotta say, man, the thing that's easy for our people to do during this cycle is be a tool of the machine. D.L. Hughley from Portsmouth, Virginia. I know he grew up in California, but he's from Portsmouth, Virginia. And I kind of even didn't want to even bring that up because I'm from Virginia. He's from the 757 from 804. But hey, from Virginia, we freedmen, man. We freedmen first. Like it's not a hard thing to. It's a hard thing to not be freedmen first. So when I see.
Josh, that's because you was raised a certain kind of way. There's so many of these people, man, who have no loyalty and no honor. We see it more and more and more and more as time goes on. These people have no honor and no loyalty. And I'm seeing it every single day in almost every space that I'm in. It's crazy. It's fucking crazy.
Yeah. Because it's like, dude, okay, this has been a slow building. It's a slow building. It's a slow build. They're programming. They only talk about certain issues. They only talk about our issues when it's convenient to further their particular narrative, and it's all strategic. It's a slow build, and then when this time comes, that's when they push the buttons. That's when they hit. That's when they pull out all the stops, and you can see the whole thing that they've been building up start to unfold. It's all supposed to culminate in you supporting and you fighting against your own interests for their interests, because that's what they told you to do through their programming every day through their media. And then, it's not just the TV programming, it's the social media now. It's political operatives on Twitter. It's people making videos and TikToks and all this kind of stuff that influence people's thinking that you think is organic. That's not organic, because again, this is 2024. How many billions got put into the campaign on both sides, right? How many billions got put into the campaign? The thing about the Republicans and stuff, that most of their marketing dollars and programming for their political campaign, a lot of that stuff is not really reaching us or affecting us. Some people may argue that it is. I say it's not. It's the people that are arguing that the Republicans' efforts of reaching us are really the people who, on the Democrat side, are in denial about that we're disaffected from their policies. Like, it's really organic how we're feeling. It's not like, you can't tell me that Trump, because their Republicans' marketing sucks. You can ask any of the people on the Republican side. They're like, man, y'all suck, at reaching black folks. All of y'all's attempts have failed. The thing that reaches us is the Democrats' terrible policies, the terrible policies, the terrible treatment, the ignoring and giving us their behind the kiss. That's the best. The Republicans ain't got to spend nothing to get to try to get the black vote. It's people that just pissed off the Democrats that are ready to, push that button. Like I said, let me just say something too, because this is the Freedmen First platform. We may have our individual decisions about voting, but just understand that all of us are on the same boat, are on the same page in terms of our number one aim is what is the best and most effective thing to happen for our people to advance and move forward. Like whether whoever we're going to vote for, our aim does not change. And our aim is we're looking out for our people's best interests, the interests of our families. And I say our families, I'm talking about all of us as a collective and as individuals. But let me say this: I went to the exit poll. I don't know if you can scroll in the chat. Or you got something else you can pull up. But if you can scroll into the chat, I wanted to show y'all the exit poll. I mean, not the exit poll, the sample ballot of the Democrat sample ballot and the sample ballot of the Republican at the voting center that I went to. I took a family member to do some early voting, and they were in a different district than me. But that sample ballot, one of the things I noticed on the Democrat sample ballot versus the Republican sample ballot is the Republican sample ballot did not have any other party candidates except for Democrats and Republicans, whereas the Democrat sample ballot had both. And I was just wondering, trying to get from y'all. We have some people with some keen political insight. I don't know why they did that. I'm trying to figure it out. Because I would think that in a heavily Democrat area, if it's a closer contested race, you would probably have more people who are looking to not vote for Democrats, even if they didn't want to vote for Republicans. And you would think that if they didn't vote for Democrats, then those people who would normally vote for Democrats voting for not the Democrat candidate, like they would vote for like the third party candidate, like an independent or Green Party or whoever, that would help the Republicans. So why wouldn't they put them on the ballot? What's y'all's take on that? I'm trying to understand the strategy.
Well, remember, RFK dropped out. And that could be the reason why you don't see him as that third party candidate, possibly on that Republican ticket. I'm not sure, and I don't know exactly how that works. How does, as an independent, let's just say, who you primary with, I believe determines, like Bernie Sanders, he primaries with the Democratic Party as an independent. So you're going to see more than likely Bernie Sanders on the Democratic ticket. So if a third party, let's say Ross Perot, I can't remember if somebody could correct me, I believe he primaried with the Republicans. And he may have been, and I'm just guessing here, family, don't eat me up. I'm just guessing. He may have been on the Republican ticket. And the reason why RFK dropped out, well, is being that RFK dropped out, I should say, could be the reason why we don't see him on the ticket. I'm trying to, you could barely see it though, Josh. I'm looking at it now.
Okay, that's cool.
But I could see yeah, it's hard to see. I'm gonna pull it up though.
All right. I don't know how far you can zoom in.
No, I can't.
There's a photo in there too.
Okay. Oh yeah, you can't see it. Yeah, but I just wanted to show y'all this is the Democrat sample ballot, and the other one is the Republican sample ballot. And the Democrat sample ballot, they have all the candidates on there. And the Republican sample ballot, they just have like just the Republican candidates with their picture and their platform. Like, hey, we for sending illegals back. We for this, we for that. And then it blurs out the Democrats. And I'm like, man, it's a lot of disaffected Democrats that ain't going to vote for you, but they'll vote for somebody else that's not the Democrats. And doesn't that benefit you? Why wouldn't you want people to be looking at the ballot? So anyway, go ahead, Ali. My bad.
No, I was just saying, check that photo that's in the inbox. of Kamala. There's some stuff on there you should share on the screen.
It says, this tells you everything you need to know. Kamala Harris, seen here back in 2003, 2004, was actively working with the Santa Barbara police trying to destroy Janet Jackson's brother and send him to jail. While Donald Trump defends Michael. Michael Jackson was later vindicated on all charges and proven innocent. We need to find this. This is something that needs to be found. So those of you who are looking at this video right now, do some research.
Like it's a video. That looks like
it looked like this is a screenshot.
So we
from
need
a
to
video.
go to that.
And we need to get this. We
Oh,
definitely.
wait a minute. I think there's a link for that too. Hold on. I think there's a link. Hold on. Because
while you're finding that link, family, make sure y'all hit this like button, share the video out. We have how many people we got watching on Twitter, man? Because I want to before we get off of here, I want to touch on the Donald Harris's ancestry because it's important to this conversation. Let me see. We have 222 people watching live on Twitter, and we have 51 watching live on YouTube. If you're on Twitter, come show us some love on the YouTube channel. Come click like on the video. Come subscribe. Click that little bell icon next to the subscribe button. No, come show us some love on YouTube. YouTube is doing a job on content creators right now. They are a part, it seems that they're a part of the machine that we're speaking about. This is why a lot of people are going to sites like Truth Social and what's the other site? I can't think of it right now, but they're getting off these platforms, man. And I know some of the people that are doing it is because they want to be able to spew their racist rhetoric without losing their jobs. The problem with Black-owned media like Fanbase, and I had to delete my Fanbase app because Isaac Hayes III is a simp. He's a cuck, a sucker for the Democratic Party. We have to call it what it is. And he will attack, just like D.L. Hughley, Janet Jackson, or anybody that questions anything about Kamala, anything. So
I put the link in the private chat.
All right, let's pull this up. Hold on. Y'all make sure y'all hit that like button, family. And if you haven't shared the video out, let's share. Let's hit share. Okay, let's get into this. Let's see let's see. I like the preview stuff beforehand, but sometimes you can't do that all the time. You can't do it all the time. So let's see what's going on here.
That could mean life in prison. And cases like this can depend on the testimony of the child accuser.
In general, the child will be able to recall and recollect with some detail the incident, and that is persuasive to a jury, even if it is the only testimony that is available.
Jackson gave a wave when he was released after booking. He's scheduled for arraignment in January.
Michael's been a long-time resident of Trump Tower, and last night the Donald strongly reiterated his defense of Jackson with Larry King by going after the accuser's mother.
She's had plenty of experience at going after people, and she goes after them viciously and violently, and I saw a story and I read another story about some of the things she's done, and I don't believe it.
But you know what it's like when an indictment comes down.
It's tough.
It's presumption.
It's tough. It's tough to win, but I have a feeling he's going to win, Larry. The interesting thing is I've known Michael from many different standpoints, and Michael would spend a lot of time with my kids. I have beautiful kids, and at the time, like at Mar-a-Lago, and even in Trump Tower, the kids were very young. Michael would come, play with the kids. He just loved children. He was not a child molester, and I am certain of that. He loved children. He'd play with my son Eric and my son Donald, and he'd just play with them forever. He loved children, but he was not a child molester. And that whole final saga of Neverland and the police and what they did was, I think, a very, very bad part of Michael's life.
Okay, so it's hard for us to extrapolate, right? That Kamala,
we don't
based on this clip, is the one that's doing the prosecuting. All we have is her giving some commentary
let's see if we can find it.
let's see if we can find that. But what is glaring in this video clip is Donald Trump is supposed to be a racist. And if you are a racist, if you know anything about racists in this country, and we've studied them, there's no way you're letting a black man around your children. I remember when Trump pulled up to G Unit Studios and 50 Cent wasn't there, but Tony Yayo and the rest of them guys were there. And they called 50 on the phone and they was like, the big dog is here. And 50 and Trump get on the phone and they chopping it up. And Trump is like, he's just hanging out at the studio with G Unit. He's just there chilling with them. He's, they recording, et cetera, et cetera. And it makes you ask the question, right? Is the man a racist? I have to ask that question. Is he a bigot, right? Or let's deal with bigotry and racism, right? These are similar, but they're different in a sense. Racism is based on race and the perception that a person may be superior or think that they're superior because of their skin tone. Bigotry, on the other hand, it has the same type of definition, but you could be a rich white bigot that doesn't like poor white people. It's like you can't stand them, right? That's a form of bigotry. So we have to ask ourselves the question, why would this man have this quote unquote black man around Lil Eric and Lil Donald at the time, Don Jr. at the time, if he's a racist? Why is he giving money to Jesse Jackson, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera? And again, we're not Trump supporters on this channel. I want to reiterate that fact. But I played that clip from MSNBC earlier about them MSNBC saying that Donald Trump made up this Abdul person who was the head of the Taliban after reporting on their own channel and their own network with their own anchors like Rachel Maddow that this man existed. They called him by name. Now all of a sudden he's non-existent. The media is shaping our people's minds, and now they're attacking one of our own, and Janet Jackson, and we can't have that. And that's what I want to get into. And I know you're still looking for that link, Ali. And while you're doing that, I want to get into this. This is, excuse me. This is Christiana Brown, Nee Brown, right? This is Donald Harris's great grandmother. I believe is his great grandmother. And they're pointing to this picture and another picture from her, I believe her maternal side, to say that this is proof of Kamala's blackness. So let's go back. Let's go back. So here we see, and I don't know how well y'all can see this. Let me try to blow this up. Let's blow this up. Because what I really want you all to focus on is the family timeline. Spouse and children. So let's get to parents. Let's get to parents first. Her father is Hamilton Brown. Hamilton Brown, and we're going to pull an image up of Hamilton Brown in a few. He was an Irish slaveholder. He married a woman named Mary Melvina Brown. Now, I don't know the ethnicity of Mary Melvina Brown. Let's click on her name and see what we can find. Let me see. See, there's no there's no racial designation on a lot of these records like they did in the United States of America, where they would list you as Negro, mulatto, or white. They're not doing that in a lot of these records, and I know because I've looked at them. So it's hard for us to say if Mary Melvina Brown was a quote unquote black woman. She could have been of some mixed heritage. She could have been, who knows, right? Mary Melvina Brown. We think about the last name Brown now, and it is popular among freedmen. But this was this white Irishman's name, Hamilton Brown, that owned slaves in St. Anne's, Jamaica. And they produced the woman that we just saw on the screen that I had up on the screen, this woman right here. They produced this woman. So to say, let's just say Mary Melvina Brown is quote unquote a black person of African descent. How does that make her black? What rules are we going by? Does blackness drown out one's, in this instance, Irishness? If you're 50% African and 50% Irish, well, how is it that your Irishness gets drowned out by your Africanness? How does that work? Nobody can define that. And I know because I've had this debate on Twitter some months back. And I mean, I was just cooking these people, man. It was just crazy. It was some thread. I should have thought about that before I started the stream. I probably would have pulled it up. So we know that this Christiana Brown, Nee Brown is her nickname. She married a white man, Joseph Alexander Harris. Let me see. Well, we can't click on his name, but we should be able to. Parents and siblings. That's just the parents. Where is, oh, here he goes. So she marries. Now you got to think now, this is this man right here. You got to think, you have to ask yourself a question. Let's say that she was half African. Let's say she was half African. She then goes and marries another, I believe this man is an Irishman as well. Joseph Alexander. I would have to do some more research on that. But I believe he's an Irishman as well. And then they produce a child. So if, matter of fact, let's stick to Europe or European. So her father is European. And the man that she marries is European. That means that the children that this woman would have produced would have more European than, and that's Leslie George, Mabel George, Ethel May Harris, etc. So all of these people, right? And the person that we're looking for is Oscar Joseph Harris, because Oscar Joseph Harris is Donald Harris's father. So that means that Oscar Joseph Harris can't be an African. Can't be. It's impossible, because he only has a little bit of the African blood in him, and that's only if Christiana Brown was half African, like 100, meaning her mother was 100% African. This we do not know. It requires deeper detail. But let's break it down. Let's see who we're looking for. Oscar Joseph Harris. Let's find him. As you see, these are white people. Here we go. So this is the image that we're familiar with. This is the man that we know as the grandfather. We're looking at him and we can clearly see that this is not a black man. He may have some African DNA in his blood, but clearly we can see, and we know because his mother, who's possibly half European and half African, married a full European to produce him. And this gives him the features that we see right now. But in America, we would have just simply called this man a white man. That's just a fact. So what makes Donald Harris, Kamala's father, a black man? Like I'm doing a thread on Twitter because I'm responding to a friend turned turned foe. Hey, let's get it, bro. You know, if you really like that. And I'm gonna I'm gonna show something. So
friend turned foe.
So Oscar Joseph Harris then marries Beryl Madeline Finnegan. Now we've looked at this woman's image, right? And she looks like she definitely has some African features in her. How much? We don't know. Because even Donald Harris speaks to unknown aspects of his ancestry in his own words on the article that he published online. And I'm going to get into some of that on that Twitter thread. So now we have two people possibly in the family that we can identify as having some form of Africanity. And that's
that woman that you're talking about, Beryl Christine, her father's name was a man. Her father was a man named Patrick Finnegan. Did you say that already?
No, I didn't say that. I didn't get to that. Parents and siblings, right? Patrick Al-Hanasus Finnegan. So how much of her blood then is 100% African? Because Patrick Al-Hanasus Finnegan is an Irishman. It's an Irishman. And he takes the wife, Aura Iris Allen. We don't know who these people are. There's no image. I've not seen an image of Aura Iris Allen, and this requires research. So we have to keep it official. That there's a possibility that what Janet Jackson said is right by calling him a white man. Donald Harris's line has more white people than it has African people, more Europeans than it has Africans. So if that is the case, what makes Donald Harris of Africoid stock, if we're using these terms? What makes him a black man?
He said Africoid.
I'm trying to use some familiar terms.
Look
John.
at his skull, man. Look at his skull. Yeah, Africoid skull. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, dude don't look Africoid. His skull, he had a little afro, right? When I was debating Jabari on Sinetta, he tried to pull up that picture. And I seen, one of the friends turned foes posted up the image, talk about he's a light-skinned Negro. Like, what? These people are crazy. But this is what the Democratic machine is doing to the minds of our people. And many of them are taking the ball and running with it. They don't care about fact checking. They're not going to do a lineage search, but I'm doing one. And I'm going to be producing that thread in the few. It's in draft right now. And I just want to make sure I got everything tied up. I don't want nobody to question anything. I don't want nobody to question anything because everything is going to be laid out. And so far, Donald Harris has more European ancestry, more European blood flowing through his veins than any amount of African blood, any amount. And then Donald Harris marries Shaimala Golapin or Golapan. I don't know. We from America. Golapin, Golapan.
Gopalan.
Gopalan.
Yeah. Gopalan, something like that.
Shaimala. Shaimala, right? Shaimala Gopalan. And she lists her race as Caucasian on Kamala Harris's birth certificate. That means that Kamala Harris is born a Caucasian. Oh no, that's a fact. That's a fact. And I'm going to break all of that stuff down. I'm going to break all of that down in the thread. We're going to end all of this. Is Donald Harris a black Jamaican? Because you have Chinese Jamaicans, you have white Jamaicans. There's white people on that island that talk like any other dread bomba-clad Rastaman that you know. And that's a fact. That is a fact. So, I can't wait to I can't wait to do that one. Boy, I tell you, we're gonna shut it down. Just because there's a lot of people that need, let me see.
I remember when this whole thing first started, like when they first announced that they were gonna run her. Not that we, voted for her or nominated her as an electorate or anything. Just when they decided they were pivoting to her, because I guess Biden was gonna lose, so they said, "Nah, we're gonna." Like that's like when we step back and think about how they did, that was really ill, man. Like they just said, "Nah, this dude ain't. He's not gonna make it. He's not it. We don't. He's Mr. Magoo out here, and he's falling apart. We don't think he's gonna make it. So we're not rocking with him anymore." So they just get together. They, notice I said they, not us, the voters, get together and decide they're running Kamala now. That's kind of crazy. Like when you think about, I think we just roll with it because but that is crazy. That's not how this is supposed to go. How it's supposed to go is if black folks are Democrats, and then black folks, white folks, whoever, all the folks, but if people are Democrats, the Democrats are supposed to nominate somebody for their party. Democrats are not just the ruling class elites and the major donors. Democrats actually consist of a huge voting base. The whole point of the donor is to fund the campaign so that the voter base make a decision to elect certain people. If we didn't make that decision to elect certain people, how in the world are they the leading candidates to be in power? We really got to think about that. I know people that vote, that are supporters of the party, just want to win. So they really don't care, and they actually are happier about that particular outcome of having Kamala as a candidate. But just the fact that your will was kind of subverted, or was, I've used subverted too many times in this conversation. I need to get my vocabulary up. But your will was undermined and wasn't really considered much. Or they just didn't care. They just said, this is who we're running. And because, we decided to wait till the last minute of this thing, even though we knew he was incompetent from a long time ago. But there's that. So then they always, you notice, like they're still trying to pump this whole I'm a black woman thing. Like it's not even so much that the Republicans or anybody in opposition keeps bringing up the race thing. They're feeding into that conversation. And I said it in the beginning. They always want to keep coming back to that, because when they get us talking about that and they get us having to rehash that, even though we're rightly defending that, right? It makes it to where we're not paying attention to border policy. We're not paying attention to economic policy. We're not paying attention to foreign policy. Speaking of which, and I'm jumping around a lot, but we only come on once a week, if that, and it's a lot to cover. How in the world do you not condemn Israel for conducting like serious terror attacks against people in other foreign nations, right? Israel claimed responsibility for some serious, like, I mean, I don't know, it's like it's war crimes. Like these people, like they admitted culpability for like taking beepers and or their pagers and walkie-talkies from a manufacturer, I think in China or some other in Taiwan, repackaging them, installing explosives into these devices, and then putting them out in the marketplace, and then tracking those. So they just called them or send one code to it, and it blew up, and it I don't know how many people it killed, but it injured thousands and thousands of people all across that country. Then they follow up with like precision attacks and strikes in Lebanon. Now, how is that we don't condemn that? You know, like both candidates need to be condemning that. But you got to think, if they are able to conduct these are nations conducting these terrible terrorist attacks in other nations, that's a threat to us also. You know, I mean, you might say that's an ally nation until we're not. You know, we're in the United States of America, we have a divided opinion on that. We have a lot of people that are recognizing the genocide that Israeli government is perpetuating against or perpetrating against the Palestinians, and then we have like large money and large entity and even the machine on both sides that are protecting the will and the perspective of Israel and their propaganda and their trying to overlook those genocides that are being committed against Palestinians. And, you know, this is not me caping for them or whatever, you know, but it's just that that's something that needs to be answered for, because there's going to be a lot of freedmen who like, I don't rock with that. I don't want to hear anything about that. I don't want to hear about, you know, you able to conduct attacks against citizens and residents of other countries. Because what makes it to where I'm thinking you're not doing the same thing over here. I'm not tapped into no intelligence agencies. They may let you do free reign over here and mess with us. So I mean, I got a real problem with that, and that's something they need to speak on. I know that's kind of off subject, whatever, but like I said, we don't get a chance to talk about everything. So foreign policy, economy, and immigration. These are things that we actually need to be focused. You know, obviously, we can talk about reparations, but I'm talking about specific issues that are in contention with both parties. As of now, both parties said "F you" on reparations. We got to do the back south strategy to get some power in America. But what we can see that are issues that are issues that we need to deal with in this election cycle. Immigration, foreign policy, and you know, there may be some other issues that are more important to you as an individual. I'm not sure, but those are three, in the economy, in the immigration and foreign policy, because those three actually, I mean, they have a direct impact on us here today. Back to you, Naheem.
Indeed, definitely, man, definitely. So we wanted to come on here today, family, and lend our voice to the opposition of D.L. Hughley, in opposition to D.L. Hughley, who has become opposition to Janet Jackson. He is getting it all over social media right now. He cannot escape it, and he'll never be able to escape it. Old Leatherface, I can't imagine him trying to do a stand-up show and not getting booed, because he's corny, and I always thought he was corny. Even when he did, when they announced the Kings of Comedy all them years ago, I'll never forget. I was like, why is Steve Harvey on here? And especially, why is D.L. Hughley on here? I'm like, at the time, there was so many other comedians that should have been in that spot. D.L. Hughley was never a king of comedy. I never really found the dude funny. He's like Kevin Hart is yesterday's D.L. Hughley to me. I just don't think he's funny at all. Don't. And the fact that it, you know, for this political machine, he will attack Janet Jackson, this man that stood up on the Democratic National Convention stage with millions of people watching, saying that he's 0 for 100 in arguments and debates with his wife. 0 for 100. That means you're not smart at all. Because if you can't win one debate, that means you're always obviously saying some dumb stuff, and then y'all get into a debate and then you lose the debate, which means that you're not as intelligent or as sharp as you pretend to be, especially when you're on your radio show or you're sitting in front of Vlad. You can't be. It's impossible. It's impossible. Who loses 100 debates to anyone? Who? Just saying. So,
Hey,
you know, we
Naheem.
have to. What's up?
Hey, so who would you have as your kings of comedy if you were to put your own list of people on that show?
Many, man.
You got to give me some, man. You got to
So if I
listen
was putting
audience.
the king, all right. So let's go back to that time period. Eddie Murphy, even though he's not at the apex, even at that time period, he's already in relax mode. His spot is solidified on the Mount Rushmore of comedians. But
What year was that? Was that like 99
gotta be
or something like that? 97? Okay, 2000.
No, yeah, let's see. Kings of Comedy. 2000. Because I remember I was in
2000.
Columbus,
Okay.
Ohio. 2000. So, and we went to the movies to check it out. And I remember laughing so hard at
Bernie Mac.
Bernie Mac, man. I mean, I was in there laughing hard. And because I knew that he was a king of comedy at that time. Cedric the Entertainer was kind of funny to me, but there were too many, man. Audrey, well, dude, Dre said DL Hughley is the Imam Bashir of marital debates. Laugh out loud, inside joke. If y'all know about the people that be on Sinetta channel, there's this Winnie the Pooh looking Muslim dude that's always trying to debate people, and he like loses every single debate, every single one of them. And that's what our brother Dre is referencing right now.
He's one of them jobbers in the wrestling business. The jobbers, the dude that come to get beat up by the
That's right. That's right.
on the Saturday morning wrestling. You know what I mean?
That's right. Martin, Jamie, Damon Wayans, all better than DL. Hell, you could even say even better than Cedric the Entertainer. But at the time, Cedric was kind of funny. Cat Williams said he was ripping off his jokes, and we now seen the video proof of that. He was ripping off Cat Williams' jokes. But there was so many. There was so many at that time, man, to be like Bernie Mac at that time, outside of those people that were established. Guy Torrey, Satra said Guy Torrey was funny as hell. Funny. Now, Chappelle
Even
was
the older
funny
brothers, man. Like John, what's his name? John Witherspoon. Man, that dude was funny as I don't know what.
Now, I don't know if he was a good stand-up comedian.
No, I went to a stand-up. I went to a stand-up at DC Improv, man. He had me crying laughing. Oh, yeah, he was funny. You know, because, you know, the mannerisms and everything, man, they just know how to get you. And even Ricky Smiley, I don't know if Ricky Smiley, yeah, he was out back then. Ricky Smiley was out back then. He was funny, too.
Yeah, Ricky Smiley was funny, you know, even though he's another cuck for Kamala today.
Yeah, I give him his props on that.
You know, we could give him his props. He was definitely funnier than DL Hughley. I never understood why DL Hughley was on the Kings of Comedy Tour. Michael Collier was funny. I mean, that dude was hilarious. Hilarious with his OG swag. I mean, Guy Torrey. It's too many to name. Mark Curry, Robin Harrison was like, was it Robin Harris or Robin Harrison? I think it was Robin Harris.
Robin Harris.
Man. Yeah, Robin Harris. Bebe Kids. That stand-up was legendary. They made a real cartoon out of Bebe Kids. It's like, you know, and I don't know if when Robin Harris passed. Let me see. Because he passed early. Let's see. Man, he was only 36 years old. He passed in 1990. Wow.
No. Bebe Kids came out after that.
Huh?
Bebe Kids came out after 1990.
No. Yeah. The cartoon they came out in 92. I'm looking at it now. But that was his routine, though. Bebe Kids. I didn't know it was 1990. Damn. He was only 36 years old. Funny. guys was funny. D.L. Hughley was corny. He was always just whack to me, man. He was just whack.
Like I said before, you could tell when people ain't that funny. When they always got to laugh at their own jokes to kind of twist your arm into laughing, that lets you know that they ain't really that funny.
That's right. Corny ass dude. Now you attacking the icon and you feeling it. And I'm loving the rally of our people all across the nation that's not trying to hear that. It's like Janet knows where she stands. Like, I ain't issue no apology. I don't know. There's one report saying they don't even know who that guy was. So I'm still unclear on that. So that is a developing story. So I'm going to probably look at that tonight or in the morning and see like what's factual. Tommy Davidson, that's right. Tommy Davidson was hilarious, man. Hilarious. Vernell on Martin, man, that's classic material. They said they improv that whole thing, that wasn't scripted. But he was like, oh yeah, I got a whole lake in the back. They got the catfish. Woo! What he said, fry him, dye him, and lay him to the side. Yo, they said he literally freestyled that on that scene. Him and Martin was just freestyling. I'm like, wow, that's talent right there. D.L. Hughley was never that guy. Never.
We should make a list.
He was that funny.
We should make a list of comedians that are funnier than D.L. Hughley.
Yeah, hey y'all, if you're in the chat, go ahead and start putting some names out there. You know what I'm saying? Oh, okay.
O'Neal, Tommy Davidson, Eddie Griffin. They going in the chat. Mark Curry, Earthquake. Earthquake is on that Democratic machine now as well. He got his Ozempic. And, you know, they like, look, man, we're going to fund your Ozempic prescription for the rest of your life. We just need you to kick for the Democrats. You know, we're going to get you, we're going to suck that fat out for you. And we're going to keep you slim down. Bruce was hilarious. Bruce was hilarious, man. Hilarious. And we get stuck with Lavelle Crawford, another one. Hilarious. Corny ass.
What was that BET joint, man? The BET joint used to come on every week. Used to have all them dudes.
Right. David Allen Greer. That was on.
What was that BET joint?
Funny. All the Wayans was funny. Some comedians are better. They're not good at stand-up to me. They're good at movie, like being just regular funny. And they work in
like Chris Tucker.
Comic Review. No, Comic View. Comic View is what it's
Comic
called.
View. Comic View. That's right.
Patrice O'Neal is another one. It's like,
Chris Tucker is good in stand-up. He's better than D.L. Hughley.
Yeah, everybody's better than D.L. Hughley to me. I don't even know what movie D.L. Hughley has ever been in. I know he's been in a couple.
He had a TV show. It was a whack-ass sitcom. That shit was trash too.
Straight trash. Just straight trash, man. Bill Bellamy. Yes, Bill Bellamy, another one, man. I mean, Bill Bellamy's still funny. These guys are still funny. Everybody's funnier than D.L. Hughley. So, you know, he needs that engagement. I'm just going to troll for the DNC. Y'all make sure y'all butter my biscuits, right? Shannon said Jamie Foxx even better than DL. That's right. Jamie Foxx was a funny ad. The Jamie Foxx show was a classic to me. I loved the Jamie Foxx. Arnez J was funny as hell. All of these people. Adele Givens, that's right. Some more. Let's give it up for the sisters. Adele Givens and some more knocked D.L. Hughley out of the box. I used to have a little crush on some more. I used to be like, she's funny, but she kind of cute and a little nice in the thighs there. I was like, I don't know. Like some more, girl. You get it. Shit. I'm a man. Anyway, my bad, y'all. So yeah, man, like, come on. All these people funnier than D.L. Hughley. Miss Laura from Oakland on the Queens of Comedy. I'm drawing a blank on that one. Some of these YouTube comedians are funnier than Daryl Lynn. That's funny. Tony Roberts is the most underrated out of Detroit. Tony Roberts. I'm drawing a blank on that name as well, but it's so many of them. We had a lot of funny fun. I didn't know that. Some more near long of blood sisters. I didn't know that at all. Wow. But yeah, man. So, just to let it be known, DL Hughley, you're nobody. You're nobody. We got 312 people watching. Most of y'all are on the X platform right now. Come on over to the YouTube channel. Come show us some love. Click like on the video. Share the video out. The culture is speaking up. Judicially affirmed rocker with me. He said that's why she fine too. Okay. That's what I'm talking about, bro. That's what I'm talking about. But the culture is speaking up, and they will have no Janet slander, not from a washed up leather face looking comedian. It's just not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen, man.
Hey, yo, put that picture up, that side by side one more time. I just want to see that.
Yeah, I got you. It's like, come on, man. You looking like Nipsey Hussle playing a 10-man Nipsey Russell playing a 10-man in the Wiz, man. Like, what you doing, B?
Except Nipsey Russell had on makeup. His face just looked like that. Like, why does his face look like that?
It's like, come on,
God
man.
damn.
Stop playing.
Clown.
So yeah, man. Look, we're gonna start winding this thing down, family. We at BTP, and I'm pretty certain I can speak for the brothers here. We grew up as fans of Janet Jackson. I'll speak for myself now when I say I know that I did. I know that I did. It's like, Janet, girl, you're looking good. You look good. If I could talk like an old Southern preacher for a minute. Good Lord. I said a good Lord. I used to look at Janet back in the days. But outside of that, she's a cultural icon. Her brother Tito just passed. I don't even think it's been a whole week.
Exactly,
I don't think
man. And these dudes on attack like that shit ain't even happen. Like,
word.
Fuck that.
You need hand dudes like, yo, I'm telling you, man, dude, some people need hands put on them, man.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
Yeah, some people need hands. And some people look, man, some people just need hands put on them, man. They need to be grabbed up by the lapel and shaken up on some. I dare you to even think about swinging back. Like, if I ever hear you talking about
word.
It is what it is. Hands and feet, baby. Hands and feet, elbows, knees, all that. All that. Yep. So, yeah, man. So, look, we're going to start winding this thing down, fam. And, Ali, you got anything else you want to share before we get up off here?
Nah, bro. I think we covered everything, I just don't like all of the fakeness, just again, Janet now knows if all she got to do is watch the different social media platforms and look at all of the blue checks and all of the slick shit that they're saying. She knows who's rocking with her and who's not now. She knows who's actually a friend and who's really probably just been some kind of jealous, hating ass motherfucker the whole time.
That's right. Nah, we're gonna play this one because this is what some of these cats need right here. This is exactly what some of these cats need right here. What? Who you talking? Yo, come here, man. Bring the old far rock up out of me. Like, stop. He's like, I thought you were supposed to be political.
This is political.
Hands, man. Hold these political hands, man. Straight up. So we different. Y'all shouldn't have never let the hood up in here. Y'all shouldn't have never kept us out. And we wouldn't have never came in here like this. Because we was getting up in here regardless. Point blank, period. So it is what it is. Hey, yo, fam, man. Thank you all for watching. Tune in. I don't know. I might come on tomorrow night. I'm thinking about going in on. There's so many different topics to go in on. It's political season. We have a lot of things to cover. You know, we promised to give people, you know, yeah, that's right. Restitution Radio. Reggie Jones Sawyer needs them hands too. He definitely, I mean, that dude did the orangutan wave at our people that was protesting. Yeah. Roland definitely needs that. Yo, come here, fat boy. Come here. You can't hide behind no woman in front of me. Straight up. Get your ass over here, man. Say that to my face. Call me a dumbass. I'm right here, right now. Oh, now you don't want to. Now you want to hide behind old church women.
Right.
Nah, man. If I want you, I'm gonna get you. And I ain't gonna be coming on. You know, that brother J Mar came on some peaceful. I want to test your energy type. Man, listen. You can't keep going at certain people. It's just like at the reparations hearing out there in Cali. One of them Heartbreaker D sissified voice dudes was in there trying to diss reparations, and one of them brothers that was out there, you could tell he was a freedman. He was like, yo, man, don't be disrespecting our stuff goofy. Like, he was like letting it be known, like, I F you up in here, man. Like, I take this serious. And me, I shared that, like, yeah, that type of sissy Twitter space energy don't work in real life. Y'all getting real life confused with the stuff that you are allowed to get away with on social media. Dudes can't fight. I'm looking at these cats in the video. I'm like, dude, you like 130 pounds. 130 pounds. I'm 6'4", 245. Like, watch your mouth. Watch your mouth. Watch them, because in real life, there's certain people that don't play that, and we could keep it professional, or, you know, we could move some furniture around. It is what it is.
Who you said it was? Heartbreaker D?
Huh?
You said it was Heartbreaker D?
No, it wasn't him, but it was, it was in that mold with the same type of voice. One of them dudes.
Yeah,
Like,
okay.
We ain't playing with nobody, man. We're not trying to hear that. It's a new political movement happening right now, and the real ones is stepping out. And that's why the only people that's attacking us are the fake ones, Ali. Everybody that's against us are the fake ones, and that's a fact. That's a fact.
Right.
And that's why they attack us. They know what time it is, man.
Shanna said it was at the Sacramento Town Hall last week.
Yep. I seen the video and I shared it out. Like, yeah, this is the energy. I celebrated that brother going there. Like, people need to know that this is real. If you're gonna bring if I would have been in Cali when that dude got up there from the Pretendians talk about Dixon Marcel, and I don't know why anybody listens to Naheem on everything I love. Me and that dude would have went around the corner somewhere, and he would have had to give me 5 minutes of his time. And that's just what it is. Like, this ain't even a place. This is for residents of California to give testimony on what they think reparations should look like for them, not bring Twitter space stuff to a hearing. I would have tried to take the top row and the bottom row of dude teeth out. I'm just keeping it official with y'all.
Take out the fronts. Yeah. Yep. Yep.
All right, look, we getting saucy up here, Ali. we moving past politics. We talking some gangster shit right now. So let us start the shutting down of the stream. Thank you everybody for watching. Again, we got a lot of people that's watching on Twitter right now. Come on over to the Be the Power YouTube channel. Give the video a like at least. Subscribe. Click that bell icon. Go to our Freedman University channel. Last night, for those that missed it, Brother Ali, aka Ali Scientific, did a presentation debunking the myth of the white freedman. We have detractors in this space that's trying to find any way to try to knock us down a peg, from professors to little clowns that can't even string sentences together properly. It doesn't matter. These people are trying to come at us and what we're pushing with this Friedmanism or this Friedman consciousness that has pretty much taken over the reparation space. And, you know, Brother Ali, did an excellent job debunking these myths by going to the actual primary sources and showing how these sources were worded and how they were misworded when they were quoted in the newspaper articles that was shared like goofballs like Taharka Bey, right? This dude has been a hater of mine forever. And when he was going that dude, I told them, just give it a few months. He'll be coming at me next. He can't help it. Because once he runs out of steam with that, he's going to have to, he got to pay his bills. He needs to make content. And so he's going to have to come at me sooner or later. He knows who the big dogs are. And BTP is the big dogs. He attacked me, he attacked Brother Ali, and he pulled up this white Friedman stuff. He don't even know his own lessons good enough. I'll still go back and cook him on the stuff that he says that he represents. And now you trying to step into this arena. You can't step on a basketball court with cleats and shoulder pads, my man. You're going to get destroyed. So anyway, yeah, that's right, Sister Kelly. We need a little street politics. You know, we need a little gavel banging in real life. And I ain't talking about on no wood. Straight up. Like it is what it is. It's what it's going to eventually come to until people respect us. And people are going to have to respect us in order for us to get this movement moving. A wise man once said, our people have never done anything but by the point of a sword. And sometimes you're just going to have to start pointing some swords. And I mean like literally, figuratively. And when I say swords, I mean like real metal swords. I don't want nobody to get no other thoughts in their mind. I don't be playing the pause game like that all the time. Because like Lord Jamar said, anybody that keeps saying that, they got gay shit on the brain all the time. So anyway, man, yo, let's get up off it. You got anything else you want to share real quick, Ali?
Nah, peace to everybody who joined and was listening in. We appreciate your time. Thank you very much.
Indeed. All right, fam, look, man, I'll leave you all with the motto of the platform, and that is, don't just fight the power, become the power. And then and only then will you have the power to make a change. And with that, I say peace.